What's up, everybody? Hey, this is Tom on the Growing Smart podcast. Finally, video with the podcast. Excited about that. Been doing this thing, just recording it on my phone for so long. Now we're on video. We're finally joined the 21st century. Hey, this is an unplanned live for two reasons. First reason, I just got out of the private client group session on Thursday. On Thursday, we have a session called Tactics, where we kind of get into the techie stuff. And we were talking about email sequencing on Monday during our strategy call. And on today, on our tactics call, we've been talking about email being where the cash is. And so that was in the private client group. And so I thought, that's really going to be my theme this week. So if you want to know how to make a lot of money on email, you're in the right place. Tomorrow is Friday. So as always, since last week when I started it, I will be doing my freebie Friday webinar. So the email will go out for that today. You'll see the registration on the various social channels for that today. Tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit about how to make money with email. So you'll want to check that out. Here's what I need to tell you within the first 2 minutes. We're not going to be live very long here today because we're going to be, I'll probably be live a little later today talking more about this. But what you guys need to understand is that the numbers don't lie. The numbers never lie. Absolutely guaranteed, better than anything else, even Facebook ads. Email is where the money is. Now, Facebook ads amplify that, but that's where it's at. So I want to talk a little bit about that on today's Growing Smart. So fancy. So fancy. All right. Very good. So we're growing smarter here today and using lots of fancy tools to just annoy you and entertain me. So I'm Tom Perrone, and I own a little consulting firm called Stronghold Training. And I am super excited about how the internet can get us leads, especially entrepreneurs, to allow us to focus on actually serving our clients. And one of the things that most of my entrepreneurial clients, whether they're in real estate or whatever business they're in, seems to always be concerned about is that if I email people, I'm going to annoy them. And well, there is a possibility of that. And we could spend hours talking about email strategy and things like that. Let me give you the 10-second version. If you have content that is helpful to the people who typically would buy from you, then the more of that content we can send them with offers to help them even more by working with you, the better. And if people don't want that content, they can opt out. And if that content is helpful, they'll continue to digest it and increase bond with you. And if it's if it is helpful and they do ever want to work with you, you're going to be very much engaged with them and likely to convert quickly. So that is why email marketing is where the money is at. I don't care what you think about email. And I don't mean to be rude about that because I'm really talking to myself here because I've had the wrong idea about email for a long time. It doesn't really matter what we think about email. The fact of the matter is that the statistics continue to show sales are made via email. What's so hard for the entrepreneur with email is when you send an email out and someone marks you as spam or they unsubscribe. And a lot of times it happens for one of three reasons. One, you haven't emailed them in a long time. They don't know who you are. So they're actually a cold audience. So yeah, they unsubscribe. They thought it was spam because you haven't engaged them. That might be the reason why. Second reason might be they just don't feel like getting email. I'm in that boat, right? I unsubscribe from everybody. Just don't want the email. So that could be why. That's okay, right? And the third, that's actually okay if they unsubscribe from your email list. You can still send them a direct email through Gmail or whatever. But if you're using MailChimp or something like that, it's okay if they unsubscribe from your blast. Okay. And then the third thing is, you may be having the issue of just not sending quality content. And a lot of times we get really scattered here. And what makes that better is to send regular content with offers, with things that how we can help them more. So imagine if you sell birdhouses, right? You're in the birdhouse business, and you're constantly sending emails out to your list of people who have engaged with you somewhere in the bird watching community about bird watching tips. Eventually, people may say, I just don't want these anymore. If they never got an email from you for a year and all of a sudden they did, they might be like, okay, I like bird watching, but I don't need this. I don't know who this is. It's spam to me. Or they're going to say, hey, that was helpful content. And they'll either delete it, save it, or watch it. Doesn't matter. Somehow we get them to engage. And the goal is to get them to open the email, because we don't want to start having their email send us to junk. But my point is if you're doing that and you're sending them helpful videos, and a part of that email is also, hey, if you'd like to buy some fresh birdhouses, check these new designs out, and they click to convert, no one's ever going to be bothered if the main reason for the email was, here's something helpful. So you can send an offer in every single email and something helpful in every single email. You can send candy, and it's okay if they want more candy by clicking on your links. And if you understand this, then you understand that frequency is best. The more I email, the better. And depending on the business you're in will depend on what that frequency should be. Some of you should be emailing 3 times a day. Some of you should be emailing once a day. Many or most of you should probably be emailing once a week. But believe it or not, few of you should be emailing once a month. Very rarely should you do a once a month newsletter anymore. It doesn't really work. Most of you will find if you can get up to once a week email, the right kind of email, the candy coated email, that you will make a ton of money. Why? Well, you've already invested all this time to build bond with people and familiarity. By sending these emails, we're continuing to do that. But most importantly, every single week, you have an opportunity to convert them to more business. And again, the thing that makes entrepreneurs resist that is we're so nervous. We are so nervous that if we do that, we're going to scare people off. But you're probably doing the opposite. You're probably letting them go cold by not emailing them. Now, before you jump into your Gmail account and start blasting out sales emails, you're going to have to understand some of the strategy of what this email should look like. And even better than that, if you can understand some email sequencing and automation, you're going to be even better served. And what I mean by email sequencing and automation is if people take an action in your email, such as opening it or clicking a link or doing anything, we want that audience to be tagged, right? And we want to know who took what action, and then have automation built in that those people could get even more emails. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Maybe you're saying, I would never email people more than once a week. Oh, I'm fine with you only emailing your bulk list once a week. But if anyone in that list clicked on your offer and then didn't buy something, and they received a tag called abandoned cart, right? Or a tag called clicked and didn't buy, why wouldn't we want to send them 24 hours later an awesome coupon? And you go, well, that would annoy them. Does it annoy you when you receive discounts for something you were just about to be interested in? You're like, oh, I'm glad I waited, but this coupon expires in 24 hours. Yeah, some people get annoyed by that. But people who are liking what you're sending and they're interested in what you do and they want more of it, who click and don't take an action, if you can give them an even greater incentive, worst case scenario, and most times is they delete it. But what we fear is they're going to get upset, when what we really need to be fearing is we're missing out on sales, right? I understand we have to be somewhat gentle in thinking about not annoying people, but I think we're probably hyper concerned about that. Now, I'm talking from the perspective of someone who's hyper concerned about that. I've done a lot of testing, and what I found is that my fears were misplaced. There is a way to make it worse, and I've done it, but my fears were mostly misplaced. Once I understood the right strategy, the more I emailed, the more sales I've made. I mean, like exponentially more. It's awesome. Okay. People will read and respond to email. And so what I'm trying to convince you of is this: you probably need to be emailing more frequently. You probably need to be thinking more strategically about how to candy coat those emails and make great offers. We probably need to be looking at some automation so that the people who respond actually get emailed the most, and the people who don't respond get it just a little bit less, but probably closer to once a week. And then if that's all triggering your mind saying, yep, that's what I want to do, then what I'd like you to consider is being in tomorrow's Freebie Friday webinar, where we're going to spend an hour going through all of this. and it would be helpful if I knew what time that was going to be. So that is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, I will post on the Stronghold Facebook page the link to register. You will need to register for that. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will be going for an hour walking you through how that's done so you can check that out. Why am I doing that for free? Well, it's candy coated too, right? My goal is that you'll be interested in that, very, very helped by that. And through that, see that I can help you more. And that's the goal. By helping people, they want more help. And there's no shame in saying things like, if that helped you, you should also check out my private client group. So fancy. So fancy. Amazing. So that's the private client group. That's where we do this stuff all the time. So you can get a taste of that tomorrow, but really tomorrow's webinar will probably take most of you from zero to hero. You will probably be able to walk away from that webinar and be able to put some emails in place that immediately you cash in on. So if you got an hour tomorrow at 3 p.m. to watch that, to register for that webinar, it's probably an hour that will turn to cash if you do what we say in there. Okay, I say probably because I don't know all of your businesses. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be rocket science for you to be able to start sending emails walking right out of that webinar that convert to dollars without annoying people. And that is the goal. Whole lot of goodies for that. So hopefully I've convinced you of two things today. Number one, that email is where the money's at and it's worth taking another look at if you're not doing it. And number two, might as well spend an hour tomorrow and investigate this a little bit further. If not, hey, it's been good testing these tools out for you. So I'm using some cool new tools here that are pretty cool. If you're interested in podcasting or any stuff like that, this is a great little tool. What we're going to be doing with this, if you want to be checking out Growing Smart in the future, we'll be advertising in advance of when we're going to go live, but I'm going to be having guests on here regularly. So I'm looking forward to having some guests, and we got a lot of cool stuff planned for that. So this has been another impromptu Growing Smart. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the Freebie Friday webinar tomorrow. Until next time, keep growing smart. See you on the next video.